Good afternoon. My name is Tiffany Brinkley, and we're here for another segment of 15-Minute Financial. I'm a financial professional here in the Seattle area, as well as a financial literacy educator. And I wanted to make sure that during this COVID-19 issue, many of you guys are stuck home, but there's a lot of things going on in this industry that you need to be aware of. And we are now in April, which is Financial Literacy Awareness Month. And we will bring you some information that you can watch at your leisure while you're at home and online. And with that, we'll get going. First, I'll go ahead and go over my disclaimer to let you know that this segment is simply an educational event. It's designed to share and encourage dialogue around financial concepts, news, strategies, and tips, often disseminated by various media outlets or taught by industry educators. My goal is simply to provide a means to uplift your families, whether you are a professional or a business owner who is seeking to protect your family, your health, and your wealth. Definitely be responsible for your own financial enlightenment, right? Do your own research. Stay positive and keep an open mind. This presentation should not be construed as offering investment, tax, or legal advice. Consult with a trusted licensed financial professional for proper guidance with your own personal circumstances. So what you need to know is your greatest asset is your earning ability, right? Your greatest resource is your time. And definitely think about that. You really need to sit with that for a while, right? We only get one chance to be here and to really leverage what our God-given gifts and capabilities are, right? And so without a basic financial education, understanding simple 3 rules of money, you'll never really truly understand how to build, protect, and leverage the assets that you are able to earn throughout your life. And again, those assets, you're really just taking your skills and capabilities and translating that into energy, right? So how do you want to direct that? So first of all, how does money grow? Okay, money grows in 3 different ways, whether it's fixed, variable, or in an indexed manner. In fixed, it just really means that you're not earning interest on your assets, right? You're not losing any money, you're not earning any money. But the thing that a lot of people forget is that there is a hidden tax. It's called inflation. That just means that over time you lose the buying power of your money if you do not ensure that your assets keep up with the growth or the changes in inflation rates here in our country. Okay, so you're looking at anywhere between 3 and 4%. You need to definitely be getting anywhere between 3 and 4% or greater in order just to make sure that you're not losing any buying power. Okay. Variable are strategies where as the market is rising, your asset value is rising, but whenever the market starts to consolidate or even make a correction to the downside, you are at risk of losing value in your account. And unfortunately, it kind of looks like a heart attack monitor, right? And it's really, if you think about it, anytime the market corrects, especially when people aren't anticipating to lose a large portion of their retirement almost overnight, it causes a lot of stress. It causes stress bad enough that it kills people, right? And it's not funny, but definitely it looks like a heart attack monitor. Well, there's indexing. Indexing's been around for about 20 years or longer, and it's just a strategy that many of the wealthy have been utilizing and educating each other about. If you're familiar with Warren Buffett, he talks a lot about indexing strategies. And the beauty of it is that when the market is rising, the value of your assets also rise. But whenever there's any instability in the growth of your asset and it starts to correct potentially to the downside, if it's in an indexed account, and the way that I'm talking about it anyways, you don't have any losses of your asset value, which is tremendous for people that have been working 30 and 40 years to build up a retirement that they most likely want to make sure is guaranteed, okay? Now, the next thing is compounding interest. You really need to understand what's called the rule of 72. It's just a simple mathematical equation in the financial world, but what it helps us tell and convey to our clients and to our students is that depending on what interest rate they're earning from the strategies in which they put their assets, they will be able to tell how quickly that money will compound and double. So let's say you were to go put your money in the bank, right? You all should know what you're earning in the bank. Why? Because that's where most of you guys are putting your assets right now. The bank is likely giving you somewhere around 0 point nothing, right? Just kidding. They're probably giving you about 0.25%. Again, every bank is different. Go do your research on what your bank is giving you. If you were to divide that into 72, which remains constant in this equation, you would then get a return of over 200 which just means that in this example, if you were to receive $10,000 at the age of 29, let's say a great-great-grandparent left you an inheritance, or perhaps you received a nice bonus at work, hopefully you will do something with that. Matter of fact, all of us will be receiving bonuses really soon, right? The federal government believes that all of us are doing so badly that they're going to be helping us out with a little paycheck, right? So what are you going to do with that money? Are you going to run down to the store and buy the next pair of Nikes that have just come out? Are you going to hold on to that money and go get your next ticket to the next Beyonce concert that comes out? Or are you going to take that money and invest it for you and your family and figure out how to leverage that, $1,000 plus, or if you're a business owner, maybe even more than that, and make it work for you, your family, or your business even stronger, right? Now, whether you get a 1%, 4%, 6% or greater return, again, there's a lot of different strategies and opportunities out there. You need to find out where your money's at, what returns you've been having since you've been utilizing that particular asset, and how it's likely to grow for you, whether it's a short-term strategy, medium-term strategy, or long-term strategy. So at least you know that it's going to have a potential to help you get to where you're going. Okay? Now, how does money get taxed? Well, I know that's something that we are all still trying to figure out. How is your labor being taxed for somebody else's usage? But that is the way of our system, right? So if you file taxes, which as you guys know, we're currently in tax season, there's what's called tax now. That's going to be like your savings accounts, or if you sell stock, or other assets, they might want to know what your capital gains are for the year. Okay, the government wants their fair share of that growth in the asset. Now, there's other strategies where the government said, you know what? We're going to give you a break. You go ahead and take the seed that you have, go plant that seed, and as that harvest grows, we will tax you at an unknown tax rate in the future. Well, that's going to be like your 401ks, right? Your IRAs, fixed annuities, even pension plans, right? It feels kind of good to know that you have money that nobody's taken from you yet. But again, there are some penalties if you were to touch that money before a certain age, which as far as retirement goes, it's 59 and a half, right? You also may see some downside potential movement in the value of those accounts. Like many of you guys that use 401ks right now, it's a potential that you've lost a significant amount in those 401ks. I've talked to quite a few of my clients who wanted to know what they can do with that money because they were too scared that they would get, caught up in what happened with people back in 2000 and 2008. Right? Now, again, we're talking about taxes, but that's just another way you can lose value. Okay? Now, tax advantage accounts have been around since the tax codes came out. You should know that tax codes came out in 1913. That's when the IRS and the Federal Reserve were created, okay, for your benefit, right? Roth IRAs have been around since the 90s. Senator Roth wanted to make sure that we all had a way to save for retirement and potentially have, a decent amount of money available to us because there would not be any taxation on that money, but still, it's in the market. So you do have to watch out for any market returns that could work against you. Okay. Now, what about cash accumulation and insurance policies, right? Have you even heard of that? Sounds kind of like a crazy idea, and depending on what financial professional you talk to, they might try to sell you on the idea that it's trash value. And I will tell you, it can be trash value if it's designed one way and you fund it another, right? And that could be for any of your plans. Your 401k could be trash value, right? Any financial plan that you do not stay obligated to in its design will be a trash value plan, okay? But definitely these are all opportunities that you guys should be considering when you are looking at financial strategies to design for your family. Now, an investor without investment objectives is like a traveler without a destination, right? And that is so true. If you think about your retirement, if you think about the things that you would like to accomplish throughout your life, and fortunately being human beings, our lifespan, and actually they're saying that the first human beings to live to 150 and 200 years old are already alive right now, okay? Are you even planning for that? Are you even close to even be able to sustain your life financially in that way, right? Well, why don't we look at it this way? A personal financial review, that will really help establish a financial foundation for you, help you figure out where you are, where you're headed, and where do you want to go. Sometimes you just need to have a conversation with somebody. just to have somebody really help you through that conversation, help you through what that would look like, help you actualize your best self, okay? We're all here on this planet to live an amazing life, and ultimately that's up to your planning and up to your vision and up to your doing, okay? Now, as a financial professional, I do this with my clients all the time. I help them identify what they want throughout their life, whether it's short term, that's 1 to 3 years, mid-range, 3 to 7 years, or long term, 7 years or longer. What kind of major purchases do you want to have or make throughout your life? Are you interested in upgrading or buying a new home? Maybe you're tired of renting. Maybe you understand that rent has gone up tremendously, triple, since I've been here in the Seattle area after college. And had I not bought the properties I bought as soon as I could when I moved to Seattle, I don't know what I would do. $2,500 of rent right now is, I don't think so. Not as a person that left corporate America to be an entrepreneur. Buying property helped me position myself to have a free life. And I left corporate America 5 years ago, and I don't want to look back. And I continue to leverage my property. So I would definitely encourage all of you guys to look at, potentially getting a piece of property. But I'm not talking about just buying a home. I'm not talking about purchasing, a liability. I'm talking about purchasing yourself an asset. There's a difference, okay? Hey, what about education funding? My great-grandfather, he went back to school when he was 65 years old and got another degree. Is that something that you might want to do? Think about it. What about, helping to support aging parents? A lot of us don't realize that there's a significant retirement crisis on our hands, and it's likely that your parents or even grandparents may be living with you sometime very soon, okay? We think that the government has unlimited funding for these programs to help make sure that they can stay in their nursing homes, that they can have a care provider come to them. But, one day that train's going to be gone. That gravy train is going to take off, right? So it's time for all of us to really be realistic and start planning for our futures, independent of the government and probably collectively with one another. So at the end of the day, it's not how much you make, but how much you keep, you guys. There's so many unknown risks out there. Again, the markets are very volatile right now. The analysts are already saying that we've entered into a bear market. If you're not familiar with what a bear market is, there is what's called a bear market and a bull market. A bull market is what you guys have been seeing for the last 10 plus years, where the market hit a floor and then it's been in a significant rise ever since then, right? Well, as of March 31st, the market crashed about 25%, okay? So many of you guys, if you're paying attention to your retirement plan, which I implore you, is difficult and as stressful and as painful as it may be, go look at what your retirement accounts are doing right now, okay? It's likely that we're just at the beginning. Again, nobody has a crystal ball, but if you go do your research on what the analysts are saying, many of them are saying that there may be more downside coming to your accounts, okay? If you look at the slide here, down on the left side, it talks about our government debt. Well, the government debt has been significant just ever since, the early 2010s, and it's going up, up, up. Well, guess what? They just released another stimulus package. So how do you think that debt's looking like for us now, you guys? Well, what does the debt translate for us? That translates into taxes. So if we're at the lowest tax rates now, your money is in something called a 401k that you don't even know what tax rate you're going to be paying in the future. We have a significant retirement crisis at our hands, right? Healthcare costs are going up, up, up. Most of our seniors can't even afford to retire. How do you think tax rates are going to be for us in the future? Okay? Food for thought. I really need you to think about that. Okay? Now, I love quotes, right? So the difference between death and taxes is that death doesn't get worse every time Congress meets, right? And so, of course, we all have our own opinion about how all of this works. The government is here to help keep programs running and to help keep our society running and to make sure that we all live happy and fulfilling lives. But at the end of the day, just like your own personal household, you have to maintain a budget. All right, well, that's the end of our segment today. Again, my name is Tiffany Brinkley, 15-Minute Financial. I hope that was enough information for you guys to swallow for today. Continue to do your research. There's so much more to share with you, but again, I can't get it all in just 15 minutes. So for today, we'll conclude. Have a great day, and I'll see you next time.